I guess so. We're going to do a quick malicious compliance today, because why not? So you want me to get married. Not my story, but I was present ages ago at the wedding in question. This young woman becomes pregnant with the partner with whom she lived. The Catholic mother takes a dim view of this and is probably a little afraid of what people will say. The mother therefore urges her daughter to get married and ends up threatening to disinherit her. So she organised her wedding. Wow. The civil marriage took place relatively normally, but once at the Catholic church, she invited her zealous pastor uncle, with whom her mother no longer wanted to talk about faith, to give a mini preach in addition to that of the priest, and chose evangelical songs that obviously no one knew. At the exit of the church, I don't know how she managed to put this together, but she told me a few years later that she chose the priest specifically because of it. 2 police officers were waiting for the priest because he was under investigation for acts of pedophilia.
What a twist!
Wow. Wow. After the photos, she arrived at the meal with the bottom of her wedding dress completely soiled. I even wonder if she served contaminated seafood because people at the parent table ended up sick. She was not disinherited. She's still happily married. Wow, that was a lot for a very short story. So if I read that right, she complied to the demand of her mother to get married. Yay, inheritance. All that just to get some money. But purposely made the event as malicious towards the Catholic churchgoer's mum as possible. Invited zealot uncle that her mother hated. Zealot uncle was asked to give a speech and choose the music to tick off mum more. Pedo priest. Bride called the cops and made a scene. Food poisoned the guests she didn't like. Dirtied her dress during pictures. I'm curious what those showed. Maybe jumping in mud and puddles for fun. Very interesting wedding. Yeah. That's it. The cops were just waiting for the priest to exit. We just didn't cuff the priest. Yes, she probably walked in mud, but I think the photos were traditional. Oh, okay. Wow. I'm glad they broke that down because there was a lot. I wish they would have created more of a picture. But still, this is really oddly written. I don't understand what happened. Yeah, I was a bit confused to start off with. Oh, they said that English is not their native language. Completely understandable. That's totally understandable. Whatever you do, don't speak French. Okay. This happened in school when I was around 15. It was in French-speaking region, and my English class had a very strict but somewhat sassy teacher, Miss Jones. The one golden rule was no French. You had to speak English no matter what, except emergencies, of course. Miss Jones wasn't messing around, but she had a sense of humour. For example, one day during recess, someone wrote on the board, "Miss Jones is a beach." When she saw it, she started screaming, "What's wrong with you? I'm not a beach, I'm a bitch." Then she spelled it correctly. I wrote on the board, she added, "Besides, it's not a bad thing. It stands for a babe in total control of herself." Oh my god, I love that. One day in class, Miss Jones mentioned war and a student didn't know what that word meant. So Miss Jones started explaining it in English. The student doesn't get it. Other students pitch in, still in English, to no results. This goes on for some time. I get fed up and say, "This is a waste of time. Can we just translate the word in French and move on?" Miss Jones answers, "Well, if you're so smart, why don't you explain what it means and know French?" Alright, I start making pow pow noises, explosions, imitating warplanes, the whole deal. It takes 3 seconds to the student to yell, "I get it!" Honestly, that was a really good explanation. Oh yes, the language of all frequent travellers. Just point at stuff and gesture until the other person understands what you mean, and add in the occasional word that you might have learned in the hopes that it might help matters. Honestly, yeah, that's literally how English people get by. We are terrible. I totally admit this. I've said this in like recent videos that I spent 4 years learning German. I don't remember any of it. I spent 3 years learning Italian. Nothing. 2 years learning French. Nothing. I just don't have the brain for other languages. I clearly don't even have the brain for English sometimes because I struggle to read. I'm not even joking. I was reading out loud because I was sitting with my chinchilla yesterday and she comes out more often from her hiding place when I'm chatting to her. So I was sitting there reading my book and I'm not joking. I kept stumbling over words and I was getting so frustrated with myself. Even now when I'm reading things like this, I get frustrated because I'm like, why can I not just read fucking English, bumbling over words constantly? I don't know if that's an ADHD trait where my brain is moving faster than my mouth sometimes, because I know the fucking words, I just for some reason can't read them out loud all the time. Going back to the pointing at stuff, no word of a lie, I still joke with my mum about this. I will never forget when my mum used to take us to Spain, because we used to go to Spain like if we were lucky. My mum used to always make ham and cheese sandwiches for us to take to the beach. She would have to go up to the deli counter. That one, Otto. That. Otto. That. I was just like, why did she not just go 8? But I will say Spanish people did tend to appreciate when you tried. It was just so funny. Like, she'd do that, I think she used to do that with cheese slices as well. But yeah, no, it always takes me back. Laugh my ass off, that's awesome. I had a similar teacher in grade 9 who, oddly enough, taught French. At the time, in my part of Canada, there was a series of PSAs from the Lung Association on TV about smoking. 2 little aliens would zip around talking about how bad smoking was. They always ended with the taller alien saying, "I agree, Smedley." Well, one of my classmates' dad worked for the LA and gave his kids hundreds of "I agree, Smedley" stickers that he happily shared, stuck them all over the school. Staff didn't mind too much since it was a good message. One day, at the start of French class, we realised we were down to our last sticker. Oh God. I grinned, laid across the teacher's desk and was busily positioning it sticky side up on his chair, much to the delight of my classmates. Suddenly the class went dead silent with a quiet "oh merde." I glanced over my shoulder to behold Mr. B trying not to bust out laughing at me, sprawled on his desk with my sneakers waving in the air. Me. "Oh, salutes, Professor. C'est bien, oui? Salut, mon ami. Tu es amusé?" I feel like I have not pronounced that correctly. Apologies. Oui, merci. Excellent. Allez, vous plaît? No, I don't. Walk of shame with my sticker still attached to my fingers whilst trying not to laugh. I did get the last giggle, though, when I stuck the final Smedley to my nose. 16-year-old assigned to community service of picking up garbage, okay? I was a troublesome teenager who committed a minuscule crime and ended up with a court-assigned community service, completely guilty. Community service was a way to take your punishment without a permanent record. The task was to collect trash in the town on foot and return to the site of XYZ time with a full bag and no empties remaining. Instructions unclear. Proceeded to pick up trash to and from my friend's house with a healthy 6-hour respite. Hello. And left the spare bag for his family to use. Come here. Completely missed the point of community service. However, I felt like quite the clever degenerate at the time. Fast forward 2 decades later and I'm a constant garbage picker upper while walking the dog. I used to do that. So I was looking after my mum's dog last year. I remember walking around the park was opposite, and I was getting so annoyed because there was just rubbish everywhere. So I ended up using one of the poo bags that I had and just picking up rubbish. By the way, there is fucking loads of bins in that park. That's what annoys me, is that where I used to live in Hertfordshire, they were getting rid of bins because people kept setting them on fire. I don't fucking know. Bored kids. Not that that's an excuse. So rather than replace them, do something about it and give kids something obviously to do. But they took bins away, so there was just rubbish fucking everywhere because people were like, well, there's no bins in Hertfordshire. There's no bins anywhere. So people just used to leave their trash everywhere. And that's why I get annoyed when I was seeing it literally in the middle of the field, and on weekends as well. There's always football clubs and stuff. At one point I remember counting like 8 or 9 of them. They're all over that fucking field, and there's always sports bottles and shit just left. Obviously kids and stuff turn up in the evening and leave shit there as well, but I was just like, I'm so sick of walking past the same bottles every day, because I used to have to walk in like 3 times a day living in a flat, and it used to really frustrate me. So I was hoping that if I do that and other dog walkers see me do that, they might also think, do you know what, I'm also gonna pick up, just because if every dog walker picks up like 1 or 2 pieces of trash and puts it in the bins, that place is going to be so much cleaner. Anyway, that was a tangent. Sorry. Boss told me to organise my tools. We're going to finish on this one. I had been a mechanic for nearly 15 years. I am the lead tech in my shop, and my company just sold recently to a different corporation, and with that came a new boss. A little bit of history about my new boss. He is 22 and the son of my older bosses, so everybody suspects a bit of nepotism at play. Yeah, so would I. The older boss was ruthless and a jerk, and really put a dent in my confidence about being a mechanic, so I may hold somewhat of a grudge against the family. But I tried to do my best to move on and just do my job. The new boss and I have had some minor issues already in the 3 months he has been here. That's not good. But I'm the type of person who can generally put my feelings to the side if the money keeps ending up on my paycheck. Today, however, that changed. I will admit I'm not the most organised person. I have ADHD, and at 33 years old, I'm still learning to function without the medicine that I weaned off of at 26. My toolbox is normally cluttered, but I keep my tools in my area or on top of my box. It's a system that works for me. This morning I clocked in and was about to unlock my box when the new boss came up to me and said, "You will not be working on cars today until your box is organised." I said, "My box is organised in the way that works for me." He shot back with, "Not good enough for me or the company. I need to be able to find tools when I need them, and it needs to look neat and orderly for when corporate comes through." I paused for a second and said, "So you're telling me that you need to be able to find my tools that I have purchased when you need to use them?" I don't remember signing that agreement. He nodded and muttered something about insubordination, and he would be passing off all the work to the other technician until it was completed to his satisfaction. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's right. The guy writing the story is right. If he's had to purchase, if they were supplied tools and a supplied toolbox by this company, fair enough. We give them to you at a certain standard and we expect you to keep that standard, fine. If they've had to purchase it, no. As long as they're still doing their job and doing their job well, you don't get to ask that of them. No. I had assumed he was bluffing until 3 cars came in and all 3 tickets were handed to the other tech. I don't have any problem being told to clean up, and I would have even done it his way, but I had a problem with his tone, and this was messing with my paycheck. So while he was in the back doing tire inventory, I opened the top drawer of my toolbox, spread my arms, and swept every single thing into the drawer that I could. I repeated for the second and third drawer until the top was clean. I used the same process for both of my smaller cars until each one of them could be closed and locked. Then I clocked out for lunch. I am currently sitting in my car in the parking lot eating lunch and browsing job listings while watching him try to open all of my drawers to use my tools, because 3 more cars came in and the other tech can't handle 6 at a time.
Here are the consequences of your actions.
Update. Sorry, my bra keeps poking me. I did not expect this to blow up like this. I clocked back in from lunch and boss asked to speak to me again. Apparently he called the district manager and also his dad, who is district manager of another district, for advice, and it sounds like they both told him to make it right and that he could not afford to lose me. I know how it sounds, but it's true. He told me that he just wanted to make a good impression on corporate. Oh, I hate managers like that, who would be coming through in a few weeks, and that he shouldn't have targeted me personally. He paid me for 3 vehicles he worked on, and I let him know that I was willing to work with him, but if he ever spoke down to me again, there would not be a do-over. I would leave. He also inquired about buying his own tools. He's not a bad dude, just a bit anxious, I guess. I suppose I will stick around for a little as the paychecks are worth it and the driver's convenient and I have a wife and a house to pay for. That's the thing, like, he's 22, he's probably just a bit overzealous and probably just trying to make a good impression being like a new manager, but if you don't show respect to others, they won't respect you. It's just not how it works. As for some of the responses, yes, I am somewhat of a slob with my toolbox, but I also average 10 to 15 cars a day, so I don't always have time or drive to neatly organise my tools daily. He said he will be bringing his toolbox from home and calling or texting to ask to borrow before borrowing. I guess I'm somewhat of a rare mechanic, as I don't mind people borrowing my tools as long as they are put back. Also, the empty toolbox comments, I own all 4 of my toolboxes, so they would be coming with me if I left. Thanks for support, guys. Seems like maliciously complying paid off for once. Yes! I'm not a mechanic, but I have a really good friend who is. We used to play around in the garage on cars he was working on for friends, so I get to hear about mechanic life. One of the lessons he taught me was to never ever touch another man's toolbox. You bought those tools, what gives him the right to even look at them sideways? That's like a chef messing with another chef's knives. Such a good point. That he bought, paid for and maintains, which you do, by the way. Chefs don't get given knives when they go to restaurant. Either have to pay for knives or they use the knives that they got from catering college, I want to say. As the saying goes, there are no, well, few bad jobs, but there are many bad bosses. Don't work for one a day longer than absolutely necessary. Hope you find a better boss soon. He sounds like he's okay, he just needed to be put in his place. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I do manage a couple of people and I've had plenty of those bad bosses, and I strive to never be one, and I'm never going to be one of those, oh, corporate ladder, you know, that's more important than, no, like, people first, and that will progress my career. Like, I'm not here to step on people to get where I want to go. No. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure to give this a like and subscribe if you feel like it. I'd really appreciate it. Try to post at least once a week. Let me know if there's any specific topics you want me to react to from Reddit. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye!